Well, I officially graduated. I guess I can throw this right over here. It's done. I'm completed. I'm finished with this. And it's over. I'm officially done with high school. Judging by the base of the title of this video, you'd probably think that, what I just talked about, this would be a completely different topic. But something that recently just happened in my life is, heartbreak. Heartbreak with somebody. And I'm just making this video to tell you, how exactly you should handle heartbreak. So I'm not going to go into detail because it's a lot of personal stuff, and I don't want that to be out there into the public. Even though I'm not big, I don't want that to, be aired out. But I'm just going to lay it out like this. Sometimes, when we're with somebody or we're talking to someone, whether it's official or, you're just talking, you're figuring each other out, you see things in the future with each other and you hope that it works out. And sometimes you think you can be there for them all the time until reality hits you. And you understand that, and this is if you have enough self-respect, that sometimes what the other person does is too much and you just have to let go. And now I'm all for sticking around, waiting. I'm all for waiting for somebody, especially if they're showing mutual respect and, all that. I'm all for that. I'm not saying that when things get hard, you just run away, but there is a time when things just are not progressing, that it is time to just walk away. And it's a sad thing, it really is. And that's what I had to do recently. Somebody I liked a lot, it wasn't really official, but someone I really liked a lot, I had to let go. It's hard, it's very difficult. Like I said, I'm not going to get too far deep into it because it's personal, but it's very difficult. So I'm making this video just to tell you how you should handle it. And I'm speaking through my own experience that literally just happened last night. So here's what you got to make sure you keep in mind. When heartbreak happens, or things don't go as planned, or you're really sometimes even when the other person still wants you to be there, you just can't be there. Because like I said, nothing's progressing. Nothing's taking a step forward. And then you feel like you're just holding yourself back. Now, I'm trying to figure out what to say. It really is difficult. But I guess all I can say is this. When your heart gets broken, whether it was done in a, violent way, where somebody was really out to get you, or if it was done in a passive way where things just didn't work out or you did not see eye to eye. What you have to understand is you can't change who you are because of what happened. So no matter the circumstances, if it's just you guys didn't see each other eye to eye, right? Or it just wasn't meant to be, or you got cheated on, no matter how severe the heartbreak is, you can't change who you are as a person. The moment you do that, you have lost control over your own life. You officially have put your heart into their hands, and your life is now getting taken control of. And sometimes we don't even realize it, but we let the heartbreak sit for years in relationships. So much so that, say you get cheated on, you might think about that for the next few years and you won't let anyone into your life. And even if you do, you just sit there and you blame them for what the person in your past did. And what you have to understand is no matter how severe it is, you cannot blame new people for past experiences, especially in relationships. When you do that, you have lost. It's as simple as that. If I meet a new girl or whatever in my future, and I sat there and I held on to this heartbreak I'm feeling right now for the next couple years, and I base my whole life, I base all these relationships off of what if scenarios, I've already lost before anything even progressed. Now, am I just gonna sit here and say that, it's easy to get over this stuff? No, it's not. It's very difficult. But what I am saying is, no matter if you're over it or not, be aware of what you are doing. Do not take it out on future people that don't deserve it. You're going to have your guard up. You're going to be more anxious than usual when getting into future relationships, no matter how long it takes you. That first relationship after you're getting your heart broken, or that first date or whatever, it's going to be difficult because you're going to be thinking about what happened in your past. You got to make sure that you stay in the present. You have to stay in the present moment. Do not look back at the past. If you do, when it comes to new relationships with new people, you're always going to think the worst is going to happen. You're going to base your life, you're going to base these relationships off of what if scenarios. So if you got cheated on and you're basing off what if scenarios, you might get with a new guy or a new girl and tell yourself that, well, what if she cheats on me? What if he cheats on me? What if I talk to this person for years and they just cheat on me in the end? Well, here's the answer. You're never going to know. You're never going to know unless you try. Obviously, don't be oblivious, don't become like love blind. Be aware of what's going on, but if they don't really have anything to prove your point of them cheating on you or breaking your heart or whatever, then there's no reason to exclude these people out of your life just because of what happened in your past. Don't push them away. And I'll be honest, it's very tough because sometimes you put so much time and effort into the wrong person. And let's be honest, nobody wants to do that. But that's how relationships work. A relationship to me it's a risk. It's always a risk. There is always risk in relationships. And you're probably like, well, what's the risk? The risk is simply you getting your heart broken. You don't know what's going to happen. You can't predict the future. Relationships without risk, it's nothing. If you're not risking, then you don't truly like the other person because you don't care what happens. But when you do care what happens, well, it starts to look a little risky, right? You're like, well, what if this girl hurts me? What if this guy hurts me? What if I get cheated on? What if he does this? What if it doesn't work out and all this time's for nothing? You're risking something in your own head. And in reality, you are risking your heart. As cliche or corny or whatever you think it is, as it sounds, it's the truth. You're risking a lot. And that's just simply what it is, But here's the thing. There's a lot of people that when they get their heart broken, they change who they are entirely. They start cheating on people. They start getting with multiple guys or girls. And they think that somehow, some way, that's going to fix their issue. And in reality, that's not what's going to fix it. You got to make sure that when you go through heartbreak, you go through hard times, that you're not changing who you are as a person. Right? So, an example of this would be like, okay, I just got my heart broken yesterday. I had to let go of somebody. It wasn't going anywhere, and it was time to let go. That would be like me, getting my heart broken because I had to do that. There's no way out. Well, I'll be honest, it's still in talks, but I'm thinking that it's leaning towards I'm going to have to leave. That's my honest thing about the whole situation. Obviously, you don't know what's going on, and nor am I going to say anything because it's private, but it looks like it's going to be me having to let go. Me having to let go of her, she has to let go of me because it's going nowhere. So it's a hard truth, it's a very hard reality, and it's very difficult. But like I said, with the example, like for me, if I let this heartbreak affect me, it'd be like me going from this, loyal person, this very kind person, genuine, and switching my whole persona to, oh, now I want to get with as many women as possible. I want to cheat on whoever I want, and, you know, just hurt people because I was hurt. And that's how a lot of people think, and it's sad. That's why people get scared if you're talking to somebody and they say, oh yeah, I got cheated on. It's scary to be with these people because there is a chance that they are just going to hurt you on purpose because they were hurt. And that's the sad reality. Now, obviously, these are immature people. Because I'm not saying it's not difficult when you get hurt, right? But what you can't do is blame it on other people. You can't let that affect these people that don't deserve it. And the sad thing is, I feel like that's what most people do when they get hurt. They either do that or they isolate themselves from new relationships, and then they just say, oh, I'm not even going to try anymore. Both of them are sad. But what I'm saying is, when you do go through heartbreak, you have to make sure you stay true to yourself. No matter how bad the heartbreak was, make sure you stay true to yourself. And then when you do meet future people, because it's going to happen one day, I know you tell yourself it's never going to happen, but one day a moment in time will come. And when that time does come, it's going to be difficult. But you got to tell yourself, you got to keep reminding yourself that this person is new in your life. They have not done anything to you, so you don't have a reason to think they're going to hurt you yet. I'm not saying that it won't happen. I'm really not. I can't predict anything. But what I can say, though, is that you just met them. They're new in your life. You can't blame them for something that the person in your past did, right? They broke your heart. Well, you can't blame these people for what these people did. So, yeah. But that's the sad truth about people who get their hearts broken, is that they put that blame on future people, and they never allow themselves to get over their past. It's almost as if, like, they want to stay in the past. And the truth is, I feel like a lot of people are that way. And I know it sounds kind of like, well, why would they want to stay in the past? Because it's comfortable. How is it comfortable? Well, think about it. You got cheated on. What's comfortable? Never pursuing another person. That's comfortable. What's uncomfortable is putting your heart out on the table again to possibly get hurt again. That's uncomfortable. People don't want to do that, so they want to do the heartbreaking. Whether they see it or they don't. Whether they're trying or they're not trying. That's why you have to be aware of what you're doing. You know? Things like getting cheated on can mess with people for the rest of their lives. So if that is you, you cannot let this affect future relationships. Don't base your whole relationship life off of what if scenarios. Don't base your life off, or base your relationship life off of your past or their past, you know. Don't do that. And look, I understand that there's people out there who say never give it damaged goods, and I see their point, but what we also have to understand, though, is that everybody goes through hard times, especially in relationships. So if you really think there's somebody out there that's never been through a difficult time, I'm not saying they're not out there, but they're very rare, and you can't base somebody off of that, right? So I'm not saying, you know, seek them, but like if you meet somebody great and say they went through a tough time and they're honest with you, you can't just sit there and be like, oh, damaged goods, I gotta walk out now. But if you notice that they're just living in the past and they're not willing to progress in the like stay in the present, you can communicate. But if they're not willing to do that, then yes, sometimes it is better to leave, because you can only take so much baggage from the other person until they're allowing their baggage to ruin what you guys have, if that makes sense. So yeah, because like somebody could call me damaged goods, right? I was hurt, and now they think that I might put that onto somebody else, even though that's not me. Obviously, will there be that thought in my head constantly reoccurring until I meet somebody that's, you know, I know is for me? Of course. There's always going to be that little voice in the back of your head telling you that this is what it is. You know, there's no difference in these other people. And you just got to fight that inner dialogue. You just got to fight it off. It's difficult, but it's just the truth. You got to fight it off. You got to open yourself up to new people. That way you're not miserable. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how introverted you are as a person. Everybody needs some type of social interaction, right? Maybe like the, very small percentage of the world doesn't, but everybody needs some type of human connection, whether that's your mom, your dad, your brother, a friend, girlfriend, a boyfriend, it doesn't matter, but some type of interaction. If you literally isolated yourself away from everyone, you would probably go insane. And the only reason why I even talk about this is because that's what people do. They get hurt and they isolate themselves and they never put their heart back out there again because they were hurt in the past. Or they put their heart out and they don't do it fully. So then they live in the past and they never give that new person a chance, which then, guess what? Pushes them away. And then that just leads to more heartbreak for them because they wanted to live in their past. So they're hurting the new person coming in. And that person can only take so much until they walk away because they have to. And then they're done. And then guess what? The person who was hurt in the past, that wanted to live in the past and stay there, is now hurt again because they don't want to leave. And that's what you have to do. When you get your heart broken and a new person walks in your life, you need to let go of the past as soon as you possibly can. And even if it feels like it's impossible, just try to work through it. I mean, it's easier said than done, I understand. But at some point, you will have to let go. And you actually have to try to let go. You can't just say, oh yeah, I'm trying. But then yet you're sitting there just thinking about the same thing over and over again about how you got cheated on or hurt or whatever. You got to look at all these new people when these new dates or whatever come up, these new relationships. You got to look at them as their new relationships. They are not the past person that you dealt with. So if you were going to take anything from this video, I'd say take this. If you got your heart broken, do not put that blame onto future people that come into your life. If you got your heart broken, do not change who you are. Obviously, if you want to change in a good way, go for it. Like if you want to start going to the gym, you want to get smarter and work on your craft, chase your purpose, that's good. But what I'm saying is the bad stuff. Like where you start taking your own pain and putting it on other people. So the new people that do come in your life, you try to play them, you try to manipulate them, or you try to cheat on them or whatever. Just doing anything to fill up the pain that you dealt with and you feel like that now the other person deserves it. And you have to fight that. Don't change who you are. Stay true to yourself. Give new people a chance. You don't know who is going to be the one. You really don't. But I'll be honest, I'm in a very difficult spot right now. I'm in a position where it does feel like I'm going to have to let go. Just a fact. I can't predict the future. Maybe something changes. I really couldn't tell you. And I know you're probably kind of confused with what's going on. But like I said, I'm not going to put it all out there. It's private. But it's one of those things where, I kind of just got to figure out what's going on. But if I'm being honest, I do think it's leading for me to let go of her. And sometimes, you gotta let go of good people. Good people that bring confusion to your life and relationships. Sometimes they are a very good person, but they don't even know what they want, so that pushes you away. Like I said, you can only take so much of someone else's baggage until it's too much. So when that happens, you kind of sometimes it pushes you away and you naturally just have to let go. So, I don't know. It's a lot of mixed emotions, like very heartbroken because, I thought that maybe it was something real. I don't know. I'm just, like I said, it hurts me to let go. It hurts me to say, you know what, I think I should leave. And it hurts them too, Sometimes you have to walk away. Now, I'm not saying walking away should be your first decision, but when stuff like keeps happening, sometimes that's what you got to do. That's another thing in relationships, confusion. One moment they're sitting there talking about how much they like you in a romantic way, and the next moment they're talking about how you're just friends. That pushes people away. That's an example of baggage. They can't accept the fact they like you, so they put friendship behind it, and then that's their version of, I like you, but I'm not willing to accept it yet. And you know what? That pushes people away too, because you can't live your relationship, whether you're together or not. You can't expect a future out of these people because they never can admit they like you, because they're so stuck in their past. They're so hurt that they don't want to admit that they like you, because if they do, they put their heart out there again. And that's what I'm saying. When you go through heartbreak, you gotta, it's very difficult, but when that new person comes across in your life, you gotta put your heart out there again. Even if that means that sometimes it means you're gonna get hurt. It's hard to say, but it's the truth. So I guess just don't change who you are when you get your heart broken. Don't let it affect future relationships. Live through it, but it's just a phase. It will be gone eventually. You just cannot let them control your life. What do I mean by that? I mean that because you were heartbroken, don't let them constantly be a voice in your head to never trust another person. I'm not telling you to give your trust out, all willy-nilly, but when people have proven themselves to you and it's like, okay, this person is trustworthy, and you still sit there and say that, no, they're this, they're that, they're this, they're that, because of what happened in your past, you're not giving them a fair shot, and eventually they will walk away. Because once again, they can only take so much of your baggage. So, remember, God's got your back. And when these things happen, don't blame him. Don't be mad at him. You can be mad at him, but don't kick him out of your life, because you don't know what could happen tomorrow. You don't know. Maybe you get your heart broken, and then a week from now you meet the love of your life and you guys are life partners. You really don't know what's going to happen. So don't kick him out of your life. He's got a plan for you. Because I know it's another thing that people like to do. They get their heart broken, they like to blame it on God. They like to say, oh, it's your fault. You don't want the best for me. I don't believe in you anymore because you're letting this happen to me. And you just got to realize that you can be mad at him, but don't kick him out of your life. He wants the best for you. Even if it seems like he doesn't, he really does. But follow God, and trust me, I'm with you on this heartbreak. If you got your heart broken recently or ever, I'm with you on it. And I feel like a lot of other people are too. So I wish the best for you. I think this is how you should handle heartbreak the proper way. And it will get better, I think. So I wish the best for you. And I hope you get through the heartbreak. But as always, life isn't too short to make a change.